A heavy metal song about a motorcycle ride to Racers Road.
Well, hello there in YouTube land, and welcome back to the channel. And today, well, we're gonna do something very special. We're gonna hop on the Daytona 660 from Triumph, and let's see. And let's see what it is all about. So as you can see, it has a 660cc engine, which is a triple, that is supposedly the same engine, or at least is derived from the Trident. But that engine is very, I don't know, very slow, I would say. And this one makes almost 100 horsepower. That's tuned differently. It has Triumph brakes, as you can see. So this bike supposedly is built on a budget, but just by looking at it, it doesn't seem like it. It has the Power 5s from Michelin, which are awesome. Actually, Power 6, which are awesome tires. It has, well, let us see what else it has. Some LED lighting. No quick shifter though. And check out that chain and those sprockets. That seems like a very big sprockets. I don't know if it's going to be slowish on that regard. Now this one has the same dash as the Street Triples, and but it's not a technologically advanced bike. It's more of a budget friendly for beginners sport bike that you can get in trouble in. So let's see. So the first thing you're going to notice is when you hop on it, it is fairly low to the ground, but I am tippy-toeing a little bit. Almost get my can flat-footed, almost, but not enough. So, but that's not bad for a sport bike. You want to be a little bit tall. And all right, so you don't feel like you have a substantial bike underneath you. It seems very small, even though it is not that small. So this is the weight. Boom. So the good guys here at Iron Supply Powersports let us take this bike for a ride. Oh, it is very comfortable. So the foot pegs are very high. I mean, not very high. They're very low, actually. Look at that bike. Oh, look at that. Look cool. So the friction zone is something you have to get used to. It's not very easy to get along with it. The brakes feel good. The shifter peg here is a little bit lower than on the R7, so that feels weird. So the friction zone is for beginners. You don't feel like a jerk when you start, but it does take a little while to engage, so that's something you have to get used to. Let's see. It is very soft on the suspension side. And moving it from side to side, it does feel a little bit heavy. You don't feel like it's a very sporty bike. Oh, I forgot to tighten my helmet, to buckle my helmet. So we'll stop here at Bucky's and we'll buckle the helmet, and also we have to change the mirrors, or move the mirrors, make sure we adjust them correctly. So the mirrors are very good, although we have to adjust them a little bit. But I mean, I can see a lot, and I can see only a little bit of my elbow. I mean, for a daily commuter, I think this bike would be great. Let's check out the brakes. Yeah, the brakes a little bit squishy. So coming down from the R7, this bike feels a lot more comfortable, but a lot more street oriented than the Yamaha. Yamaha is very aggressive on everything. this one is very different. So even though they're competition, you wouldn't really compare them in that regard. I mean, well, you can compare them, but all right, let me just do this. I'll see you guys in a while. All right, so that is buckled and I am back. So usually when I do a demo, you want to be left alone so you can take the bike to the twisties and all that stuff. But being a brand new bike with new tires, it's like, that makes no sense, man. You get in trouble for that, for going to the twisties and putting the Power 6s on the side. And I don't think that's a good idea. So we'll just hop on the freeway and see how this bike feels on a daily commute. So I have to get used to that friction zone that is too much for beginners. So you have to accelerate a little bit before it engages. Also release the clutch a little bit too much. All right, let's hop on the freeway. So I'm accelerating. Oh, there it is. There it is. Alright, so compared to the Yamaha, you don't feel that pep, that strong pep. You have to accelerate a little bit too much. But that's the difference between an inline 2 and a triple, right? So the inline 2, with the cross plane and everything, it's going to give you a little bit more pep down low. This one does feel peppy. It's comfortable. That's like the best thing you can say about this bike. I mean, if you compare it to an RS660 or the Suzuki or even my R7, those twins are a little bit more fun, more engaging than this triple. And the seat, it's a little bit too short. You can't really move around on it. You have to stay in your position, which is not very sporty. You try to get in a tuck, you really can't. You would have to go almost to the passenger seat if you want to be on a tuck. Now unfortunately we're gonna hit some traffic, so we're gonna have to maneuver and see. But I mean, it's a real test, right, on how this bike handles in daily traffic. So if you want something sporty, this bike is not for you. If you're thinking, oh, it's a Daytona, well, it's not really. They just have the name, so they didn't want to patent anything else and just keep the name Daytona. But it's not really a super sport. This bike reminds me a lot of the Ninja 650. The way it feels, the way it rides. I'm guessing maybe taking on twisties is going to be a little bit better and more engaging than the 650 from Kawasaki. But, and it is fast. I mean, don't get me wrong. The problem is, it's a brand new bike. You don't want to accelerate too much. I mean, I'm enjoying myself on this bike. But would I put it on the list? I don't think so, because Triumph makes a much better triple for daily commuting that is a lot sportier and a lot more fun and a lot more engaging, which is the street triple. And yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than this one, but I mean, it's not a bad bike if you're gonna be commuting every day on it. But if you want to take it to the twisties, the suspension is just too much for the street, and then there's not a lot of adjustment that you can do. So it just feels a little bit too soft. I mean, the suspension in the back does feel a little bit better than what the Yamaha when it came out of the box, but the Yamaha said, and it's now very good. I don't know, I just look the way you feel like I'm riding too up top, like more like a naked bike. But even a naked bike will feel a little bit more sporty than this thing. So the engine is a lot better than what I remembered on the Trident, because I hated that one. But it's still not as engaging, as fun as I was expecting. to be for 90 horsepower. Maybe it has rider modes and I'm on the slower one. We'll check it out. We'll see. Yeah, I don't like the way this bike drops. It's the whole position, the riding position is not a sport bike. It's a kind of a sport commuter touring bike. But I mean, if you're gonna go that way, the Suzuki GSX-8R feels a lot better than this bike. This is not a bad bike by all means, but no, I'm not putting this bike on the list. Go, 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 go. Come on, man, you can go, you can go. Thank you. All right. Let's see if this thing, it has buttons, but they don't do anything. What's that? Now I have a 2 there. I think that's a gear indicator. Yep. Well, I can't find any rider modes or anything. I don't know if it has any. I don't think it does. Yeah, this thing is a freaking turtle, man. I mean, it's not as bad as a Trident, but it doesn't feel very engaging. I wouldn't trade my R7 for this. Sorry, Triumph. I mean, it's a very pretty bike, and I enjoy riding it, but not enough to consider putting it on the list. Just the riding position is just too much of a old man type of bike. So, yeah. Maybe it's my midlife crisis that I cannot have a bike like this. I need something a little bit sportier. And just pushing all these buttons and service intervals and all that stuff. Oh, it does. Does it have cruise control? That would be good for a bike like this. That's what you need. You need cruise control. Yeah, I'm trying to see where the power band on this thing is, but I'm guessing it's gonna be way up top on the rev range, and I don't want to rev it too much. This is a brand new bike, and it happens just like when I rode the CX-4 RR. That same experience. This is not a bike to demo. This is a bike to own so that you can give it all the beans. But I wouldn't own it. I really wouldn't. Not with that riding position. It reminds me a little bit of the Aprilia RS660 on the riding position where you can't really get on a tuck, which is one of those unfortunate things about that bike. It's a great bike, but it's just missing that. This one is the same thing. Now a lot of people complain about the suspension. I don't think it's that bad if you're going to use it for the street, and I think it can handle some bumps. On the twisties will be no problem, but I don't like the riding position. It's just too weird. And then I'm used to my Suzuki having all these wide handlebars. These are not that wide, and it's just because it's a very small bike. You feel like you're in a very small bike. It does feel planted a lot better than some other of the other smaller bikes that you would get on this category. The wind doesn't bother you. It's very well designed. But yeah, this is not a bike that I would put on the list. Unfortunately, I mean, Triumph, the problem is with Triumph and their triples, they spoiled me. Because the first one I rode was the Speed Triple, and yeah, after that, everything is downhill. There is no other bike with a triple that is better than the Speed Triple. And you can say that the Yamaha CP3 engine would be great, but yeah, but that's not as good as the Speed Triple. And the Street Triple is also another bike that I would much rather have than this one. enjoying myself on this bike. It's not like it's terrible. It has some good components. The whole thing about it not being built in Britain is being built in India or China or Thailand or someplace. You really don't feel that. I mean, for example, this little plastic here, that it's a fake carbon fiber. I hate those little details, but it doesn't look cheaper than, let's say, the Suzuki's that they do that. So I really don't. I mean, the fit and finish of this bike is very good for a budget bike, which is $9,000, a little bit more, but less than $10,000. You don't feel that it's a budget bike. So that's one of those things that if you're worried about that, don't. If you're worried about it not being fast enough, well, it is fast for commuting. But my Yamaha that makes a lot less horsepower feels a lot more powerful than this thing. And it's just because of the way it delivers that power. So up top, this one will take it, obviously. But if you're doing a roll-on or if you're doing 0 to 60, the Yamaha, I'm pretty sure it will beat it. Now, in regards of the looks, this is one of those things that this bike does better than most. It is very pretty, a very pretty bike. I like the way the shape of the tank. You can put your knees down here. So those are the things that you would think that it would be much more of a sportier bike, but it's not. And then when I sat on it, I thought it was going to be that because of the way the seat is a little bit higher than on something like the Ninja 650. But this bike reminds me more of that Ninja 650 than the Aprilia or the Suzuki, and of course not my Yamaha, because the Yamaha is the only one in that category where they went all crazy and designed a track weapon, which is, why would you do that? Just make it a little bit more comfortable, but don't exaggerate and go overboard with what you're doing, because then you get a bike like this, which is for nerds. Unfortunately, it is for nerds. That's a problem, and I'm a big enough nerd as it is. So what I need is something cooler than a bike like this. Not a bad bike. It handles well, does everything well, but it's a bike for nerds. I would much rather have the Street Triple. All right, what's going on here? Why is this thing closed? Well, that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you like the videos, to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell button, and share it with all your friends. You don't like the videos, well, share it with all your enemies. And I'll see you guys on the next one.